We're here on the lands of the Turrbal and Jagera people for PowerShift 2022 here in Meanjin, Brisbane. We're so excited to see the outworking of the partnership between the Australian Youth Climate Coalition and Western Sydney University. Curriculum and activism can intersect to empower young people to act to create a more climate just future.
We have partnered with AYCC in our curriculum making, and this is one of our efforts to not only promote AYCC and youth climate activist movements, but it is also our intention to just learn from them. That's why we're here.
A partnership where ethical approaches and responsibilities are shared but are assumed as well.
We've been really grateful to be able to partner with Western Sydney University on this event, and I think there's a really clear shared goal between the two organisations around educating and empowering the next generation of leaders to understand issues in our world, in our politics, in our communities, and how we can create change in a whole diverse range of ways with the skills and passions that we have.
It's important that we think about who we are in this space and not to take up too much space as somebody over 30.
This experience of sitting alongside young people as a relative equal for 3 days of PowerShift has underlined to me how necessary it is to think again through pedagogy and prioritise those conversations as they relate to justice and equity.
To me, climate justice is the fight for human rights because it entails so much. As a First Nations person, participating in climate justice really is the fight for country and the fight for my people,
The foundation of climate justice is to prioritise justice and equity now. Because if we're going to achieve better futures, they need to start happening now. And as you say, it needs radical change.
Climate justice acknowledges that the people who contribute the least to the climate crisis are impacted first and worst by it. Climate change is a direct product of really systemic oppressive systems of capitalism, colonialism, patriarchy, and climate action doesn't acknowledge that. Climate justice actually works to break down those systems and find a better solution that are led by First Nations people and by communities who are impacted.
We are here to show that the university, as a higher education institute, cares about climate justice and social crisis, and university curriculum making especially is not reserved to four walls within the university, and this is a very interesting experience for us as curriculum creators because we get to ask questions, to sit with these amazing young individuals who are proactively engaged in change in the society for the better.
As an education institute, they have a responsibility to be educating, the students that attend there about climate change and climate justice and how we can be global citizens and participate within the climate justice movement as a collective.
But to actually sit with them and listen to their stories, it has been so inspiring for me. And this is what I intend to take back to the university to show that this is what we should be doing. These are the concerns that we should be addressing, and this is what we should be responding to.
First of all, it's really exciting that schools and universities are looking to integrate more information about issues relating to climate change, climate justice, and the true history of this continent and the injustices of that into curriculums and into what young people are learning.
This has been an amazing experience for me to question whether the university is a space for activism and whether curriculum making as activism, how far can we go with it, and the contribution of curriculum making as activism for something like climate justice.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for universities because they're a place where a lot of people come together and a lot of ideas come together, a lot of knowledge is had in that place. But I also think universities have a long way to come in the space for knowledge. It's really important that it comes from a just mindset, that it comes from real knowledge holders, people who think with a diversity of philosophies, not just the dominant one.
Universities are a really powerful hub for young people to actually come together. It's somewhere where thousands and millions of young people are coming together every day. So thinking about how to make the most of that and open up those spaces to social change movements and youth movements as much as possible.
We've got a responsibility to engage more staff in this as well, because there's lots of staff that are not engaged in climate justice work or equity and justice principles. or there are some staff that are doing it but they maybe don't feel like they've got a collective, and we can maybe start building that collective on campus.
Our curriculum making is based on equity and justice. We are trying to bring technology and society together.
Look, I've found it really amazing because it's been an opportunity for the curriculum that usually stays so closely within the confines of the university to be taken outside the university, and that's the massive value of this, I think, is that we're engaging with a whole new group of learners, but we are taking material outside the university classroom.
We can learn from that if we think about our curriculum as our activism. And what we need to do within the university and the university as its location in Western Sydney, connecting curriculum to communities and actually realising climate justice for people. That's the key thing for me, I think.
I would be prioritising community-led solutions, community-led responses. The region of Western Sydney is such a priority in AYCC's kind of strategic plans and goals as well, and that's something that we can only support, and it's really exciting to be able to, think ahead to that. This is an urgent crisis, and we need students not just learning skills from within the institution but outside it as well, and there are things that this collective can provide that for a number of different reasons will not happen in a university classroom as well.
The workshop, Digital Identities for Climate Justice, pulls from the Curiosity Pod that we've developed with AYCC and students and the Young and Resilient Research Centre to think about how we use social media and how we might use it with other people to realise climate justice.
The other thing we did is that we ran a festival of action at the AYCC PowerShift, and that was a wonderful thing to showcase the various student and staff-led activisms that exist at Western Sydney University.
Knowledge, that's a really important thing for First Nations cultures. Everything, the way our hierarchy works is built off knowledge. That's why we have elders. Our elders are our knowledge holders, and they know how to care for country, and they teach us. And through our lives, it's a journey of learning how to care for our country. Having the knowledge and the education come from a justice mindset, but specifically like an Indigenous and a First Nations mindset that is looking holistically, looking at our air and our water and our culture and our language as one thing that we call country, and our communities and our people and how they are connected.
Prioritising First Nations voices, prioritising the voices of people of colour, prioritising the experiences of diverse communities. And that is a challenge that we as a Future Thinkers team are taking up, and we don't always get it perfectly right, but we're committed to that, and that's the really pleasing thing to see that then blossom at this kind of stage.
I think we can go back with ideas around how we can put that into action. The knowledge that we've gained from coming to the conference can come back into the curriculum that we're making.